So Mickey 17 was written and directed by Bong Joon-Ho in his follow-up to Parasite, which won Best Picture back in 2019. Everybody's been anticipating Mickey 17 ever since this guy swept the awards circuit when Parasite came out. His follow-up was highly anticipated. So I was very disappointed to hear that Mickey 17 was postponed. It was supposed to come out last year around this time. But hey, if it means a better movie down the stretch, and listen, follow-ups to a Best Picture winner by any director have always been hit or miss, but I was still hopeful that this one would be a lot of fun. So we follow Mickey, played by Robert Pattinson. He's known as an expendable employee. He's sent on a human expedition to colonize the ice world of Niflheim. After one iteration of Mickey dies, a new body is regenerated with most of his memories intact. And seeing as how this is a dark comedy, it leads to some comedic hijinks. Which I'm just going to say this much for right now. If you go into Mickey 17 expecting a very serious, thematically rich drama, you're probably going to leave pretty disappointed. This movie is a really nice amalgamation of lots of different genres, but at its core, Mickey 17 is not only science fiction, but a dark comedy. This movie has some twisted sense of humor. And even though this movie, and I feel like this is going to get into my biggest issue with Mickey 17 and ultimately its biggest drawback, the message of this movie is very in your face. It honestly feels like there's a point in the movie where the script just decides, hey, this is what the movie's all about. This is what we're trying to say. We're just putting it out there in the open. Here it is. That's what we're doing. And Mickey 17, for my liking, was a bit too on the nose. I think there was an opportunity to have a little bit more ambiguity in what was being said here. But that's not to take away the fact that this was a lot of fun. The cinematography in this movie obviously looks very beautiful. The direction of this movie and just how certain actors are framed in these shots. Bong Joon-Ho really knows what he's doing. And I think a lot like Snowpiercer, he really has a way of just engrossing you in this environment. Which, speaking of engrossed in the environment, I gotta talk about Robert Pattinson. I really feel like this man can do no wrong at this point. And I know I said this 3 years ago when the Batman came out, but I do not want to hear anybody else joking about Sparkle Edward Cullen bullshit. We're done. Pattinson not only has to play the nerdy iteration of Mickey, the titular character himself, but he also has to play Mickey 18, a maniacal dickhead. And I think he does really well in both facets. The voice that he has for Mickey, you would not be able to tell that this guy was British. He is marvelous. The rest of the star-studded cast, I think, is very solid as well. Naomi Ackie, who you might remember from Blink Twice, a movie that I thought was incredibly underrated last year. She acts as Mickey's love interest here, and I think she does some pretty solid work overall. As does Steven Yeun, who I am so proud to say is having the career that he is having. Especially after I first watched him in The Walking Dead and loving him as Glenn. I'm so happy to see that after The Walking Dead is over, he is doing so well for himself. You also have Toni Collette in here, and I feel like she treads the fine line between over-the-top and totally serious, over-dramatic. I've always loved Toni Collette. I think she's great in anything she does, and I honestly can't wait to see what she does next. Mark Ruffalo. Honestly, this performance right here is what could make or break Mickey 17 for a lot of people. Because yes, Mark Ruffalo is very wacky. Yes, Mark Ruffalo's character is insanely stupid. And yes, I'm so glad you noticed that this character is a humongous caricature of a certain individual that I dare not say by name, because I'm sure some people watching this video might get very triggered and pissed off at the mere mention of it. But if you're pissed off watching Mark Ruffalo, if you're annoyed by his presence, good. That's the whole point. You're supposed to be annoyed by him. Because the person he's caricaturing in real life, yes, very annoying individual. I thought it was fucking hilarious. He is just so, it's cult mentality. This guy's not a politician. He's a cult leader. Yes, a lot of the messaging is very much in your face about colonization, about politics, about following some sort of false prophet. There's some religious aspects in here as well, which I wasn't expecting. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo's character and his performance and his presence is going to be extremely polarizing. But the more I think about it, the more I love it. Overall, I think while the message kind of beats you over the head with a gigantic sledgehammer, there's a lot of really interesting concepts and ideas in Mickey 17. For science fiction, you absolutely need that. with a star-studded cast across the board who is bringing their A game. I think that's what'll really propel Mickey 17 over the top. In addition to the phenomenal technicals you get with director Bong Joon-Ho, the score in this movie is also very good. And I will also say, the ending of Mickey 17 is kind of brilliant. The whole second half of this movie I thought was just guns blazing, so much fun to watch. So despite its issues, I still think Mickey 17 is a very good movie that you should be going out of your way to see in the theater. I'm going to give Mickey 17 a B+. Science fiction, dark comedy, if you like those genres, you should sign up for this one. But maybe read the fine print a little bit more before you consider applying to go and see this. Don't be like Mickey just blindly applying for the job. Let me know what you thought of Mickey 17 down in the comments section below. What is your favorite science fiction original idea that you've seen at the theater? I love getting in front of this camera and talking all things movies with you guys on the regular. Hit that subscribe button if you're new and tap on that thumbs up as well, please. Because 2025 is off to a hot start when it comes to movies. And I'm having such a great time talking all new things at the cinema with you. So guys, thank you all so much again for your continued support. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.